Robozone is presented by First in Michigan, Michigan's premier provider of K-12 robotics programs. Kettering University, think differently, learn differently. Also brought to you by the DTE Energy Foundation. Blue Chip Talent, ridiculously good at advancing careers in IT and engineering. Stryker, discover your strengths and follow your passion with us. The Dow Chemical Company, the human element at work. Fanuc America, the leading supplier of robots, CNCs, and factory automation. Consumers Energy, encouraging your inner genius. Hungry Howie's Dough Raiser, your next fundraiser comes with flavored crust. And the Ford Steam Experience, inspiring the next generation of problem solvers.
What's up, Robozone Nation? I'm Lauren Plant. This is Dan and Joel, by the way. We are at the Troy-Athens District this week for a couple of reasons. One, to check out one of the best competitions all season, as Troy often is. The other is we're gearing up for the state championships. We're getting everything in motion for the best live stream of a robotics event you've ever seen. That's right, I said it. Coming up April 14th, live from Saginaw Valley State University, RobozoneTV.com will have no less than 8 hours of all the excitement of the final day of competition live. So from final qualifying to alliance selection to the playoffs to the new state champions, welcome to Robozone. We're presented by First in Michigan. We also had a very special guest this week visit the Robozone studio. FRC co-founder Woody Flowers, great man, had a lot of great things to say. You'll hear some selected wisdom we pulled from the 20-minute interview I did with Woody, of which you can watch on our Robozone Facebook and YouTube page right now. But first, a refresher on how Power Up is played as described by Jim Zondag and Dan Camara.
Tell us about the game of Power Up. What's going on?
Our 2018 game is a 3-on-3 robot game. We play a match for 2 minutes and 30 seconds, the first 15 seconds of which are autonomous. The other 15 are driven by high school students. There are 3 different sort of ways to score in this game. The first way that we're going to see a lot of is there are these yellow power cubes on the field. If you put the yellow power cubes on one of our 3 scoring structures and get that scoring structure to tip towards your color lights, you'll collect 1 point per second. You can do that on the middle one, which we call the scale, or on your side one, which we call a switch. At the end of the game, there are 2 different ways to score points. There are platforms on the sides of the scale. If you're on top of the platform at the end of the game, you're going to get 5 extra points. If you're hanging on a bar above, 12 inches above the platform, you're going to get 30 points. There's also a way to pass cubes to your human player. And if you pass the cubes to your human player, they can put them in a vault. So once teams have the cubes in their vault, they can then choose to play that power up at the most advantageous time for them. The vault then is worth 5 points a cube you put in there, but also enables some power-ups. The first power-up that we can talk about is Levitate. If you get 3 cubes in the Levitate power-up and hit the button, you're going to get a free hanging robot for 30 points. If you get cubes in either a boost or a force power-up, they'll get worth a little bit more the more cubes you put in, but the force power-up essentially will take control of some of our scoring structures for your alliance, giving you that 1 point per second for them. The boost power-up will double the value of all of the scoring structures you already control. So instead of 1 point per second, you'll get 2.
All right, so that's how the game is played. Right now, it's time to get to some action that took place elsewhere in the state, so let's check out a couple of districts.
We start smack dab in the middle of Michigan's Lower Peninsula at the Shepherd District. Solid mix of young teams and veterans. Team 1506, Flint's Metal Muscle, seated first overall with a 12-0 qualifying record. They chose 2 less experienced teams to join them on the number 1 alliance, 6753, the Calvary Baptist Robo Kings from Midland, and rookie team 7226, Error 404 from Lansing. And this trio worked as the number 1s breezed their way to the finals. The second seeds, captained by Team 2054, Hopkins Tech Bikes, as they scored off against the number 3 seeds, led by Holland High's Team Chaos in the semifinals. Both battled it out through 3 rounds, but the number 3 Blue Alliance pulled off the upset, winning match 3 despite a double climb by 2054 and 6594 Ev Robotics. The Shepherd Finals, straight-up scale battles all the way with 1506 and 6753 scoring high for Red, and Chaos and Posen's Viking Kujan Team 6077 doing the same for Blue. The Red Alliance planted their flag, however, winning both matches 364 to 285. In 386 to 309, blue banner for red. Team 74, their second silver of the year. To Livonia Churchill High School now as the two-time state champs. Clarkston's Team Rush, Team 27, led the standings all the way through qualifying thanks to their simple yet effective buddy climber device. Joining them on the #1 alliance, Team 302, the Lake Orion Dragons, already a multiple district winner this year, and Garden City's Cougar Robotics, 61-16. Third event for both of the two-led teams, and experience proved yet again to be the difference maker. The Rush Alliance breezed through the quarters and semis, easily defeating Alliances 8 and 5 on their way to the finals. In the Livonia finals, 302 scored quickly on the scale in autonomous in both rounds, taking and keeping control of the game for red, and 27 and 61-16 pulled off end-game double suspensions for the win. This is the first 2018 season win for Hall of Fame Team Rush and the third season win for the Dragons.
MIT students, if you give them a problem, they just go at it. They just compete like crazy. Right. But they started treating each other really nicely in the process. So compete like crazy, but treat one another with respect became kind of the way it worked.
DTE Energy is committed to giving back. So DTE employees volunteered thousands of hours working in over 450 communities with more than 280 charities across Michigan. Why? Because we don't just deliver energy. We want to empower people in the communities where we live and serve. DTE Energy. Know your own power.
Kettering University is a jewel among American higher education. We have some of the finest engineering and science and business programs in the country. All of our students spend half of their time in the classroom and also half of their time in the professional practice of their discipline. Connecting those two things is a powerful way to learn a discipline. We're famous for our contributions to the automotive industry, but we do so much more. We have some cutting-edge facilities in biomedicine and biomedical research, in applied physics and acoustics, some of the most amazing chemical engineering laboratories in the Midwest. All of these facilities are accessed and accessible by undergraduates. Virtually all of our students are employed upon graduation, usually 99 to 100% of our students. There's no other institution that prepares students quite as well as we do.
First Robotics and Robozone wouldn't be possible without the amazing sponsors that devote their time and resources into these teams. So let's go to a team that DTE sponsors, Team 5901.
So our team is 5901 Cougar Pack out of Voyager College Prep High School in Detroit, Michigan. We're able to come to these competitions, get our transportation here, all of our materials, all of our awesome swag that we wear, and all of it's made possible from our sponsorship like DTE Energy Foundation.
The DTE Energy Foundation awarded $15 million in grants in 2015 alone.
DTE Energy has a women in engineering program, and they were looking for women to come and help mentor some of these teams, so DTE allowed me to have this opportunity. I've continued mentoring just because watching these kids learn and grow is just the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life, to be honest.
My first robotics experience has been great. It's amazing competing with different teams. It's a lot of diversity, a lot of personalities, different ideas, and it's amazing.
So these students come in, and a lot of them don't know the first thing about engineering. They know they like math, they know they like science, and they come in and we get them exposed to not only engineering and design, but just everything it takes to make something from nothing. And they're just so energetic and passionate, and it's addicting.
I love engineering. I love taking out the ideas, the creativity to build something of your own. Because of First Robotics, I have wanted to become an engineer.
Again, I can't thank the DTE Energy Foundation enough for what they do for my team personally, but also the center that we work at and the other teams that they sponsor, and go Cougar Pack.
All right, thanks, Kira. We are at Troy Athens High School this week. Time now to find out how the playoffs went here. What alliances were left standing to face off in the finals? Let's find out.
Troy Athens High School, the host for our main event this week, an event a decade old now. Known as the Troy District, it has a reputation as a powerhouse playground of teams honing in their bots for the quickly approaching state championship. In quarterfinal 1, the first seeds versus the 8 seeds, and the number 1s led by 67, the hot team from Huron Valley, and they had help from 4362 Gems from Brighton Sherrill Stockwell Prep, and 2676 E-Course Robo Raiders. The number 1 seeds laid down a 2-match sweep on the back of strong autonomous play against a simply outmatched opponent. In quarterfinal 2, the 4th and 5th seeds traded initial wins, but in the elimination match, Walled Lake Western's More Monsters Team 71-78 experienced technical difficulties. That gave 54-36 Stony Creek Cybercats, 245 the Rochester Atom Bots, and 22-24 Detroit Renaissance High's Robo Phoenix a 3v2 advantage and a clear pass to the semis. The 7th seed tried a switch-centric strategy as they looked to upset Goodrich High's More Martians Team 70, 35-39 Romeo's Biting Bulldogs, and 54-98 Wire Devils from Grozeal in quarterfinal 3. But the 2nd seeds quickly adjusted and pushed on to the next round. Rounding out our quarterfinal play, the 3rd-seeded alliance of 5460 strikes home from Lapeer, 2337 Grand Blanks Engine Nerds, and Warren Fitzgerald Spartans Team 55-55 threw down not one, but 2 200-point victories to let the competition know they came to rumble and earning them the last spot in the semifinals. So, the chalk held throughout. Seeds 1 through 4, moving on. In the semifinals, in Match 1, we had the 1st seeds versus the 4th seeds, and Match 1 started with both alliances absolutely whiffing at the scale in autonomous, but the 1st seed alliance quickly took control and Teleop owned it the majority of the match, quickly getting the win for the Red Alliance and out of reach for the 4 seeds. In Match 2, and needing the win, the Blue Alliance on their heels most of the match. They gave up the fight for the scale with 75 seconds to go, turned their attention to the switches, but overshooting and drop cubes caused their impact to fall flat. 1st seeds on to the finals. The 2nd semifinal pitted the 2nd versus the 3rd seeds, and in Match 1, the battle for the scale looked mighty close, as the 2nd seeds were only behind by half a cycle, but close was not enough because the 3rd seed still netted 94 scale points over their opponent, allowing them to mark one in the win column. In Match 2, things only got worse. 70s Autonomous earned the 2nd seed 2 tech fouls in the first 20 seconds of the match. Defense by 54-98 on 23-37 allowed the 2nd seeds to gain advantage of the scale, but 54-98's intake accidentally got stuck in 23-37 and pulled the wires out, earning the 2nd seed a red card, automatically disqualifying them. The final stage set.
I believe that true education is not about learning codified content. It's about developing a self-image that allows you to know from personal experience that you can do something that's hard, that's intense, that's for others.
Are you stuck in your job? Getting frustrated playing the waiting game for the next opportunity to advance your career? Let Blue Chip Talent help. As an award-winning talent acquisition company, our specialty is matching candidates with careers in IT and engineering. At Blue Chip Talent, we take a laser-focused approach to reaching your career goals. We have access to jobs you won't find anywhere else to help advance your career faster and easier. Plus, we take care of you. Employees receive industry-leading benefits and competitive perks. Don't waste another minute worrying because we are ridiculously good at advancing careers.
Today's the first day I found the time.
I've always wanted to have a photo exhibit of the faces of our community and those people that create the heart and the soul of where we live.
So I think we can make that happen.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding me.
Introducing the SUV equipped to make your first ever happen. The first ever Ford EcoSport is here.
Back again.
You know me.
Pepperoni Asiago. Oh, he's so cute. What's his name?
Pepperoni Asiago.
I just want to eat him up.
Flavor fanatics love us because we make our dough fresh daily and only use 100% real mozzarella. Now get meal deals for any budget.
Hungry? Howie!
Flavor fanatics welcome.
Genius is not born. It's nurtured. It's curious. Genius takes teamwork. patience. It keeps going until that moment when it shines. Introducing the Generation Genius Project, a consumer's energy educational initiative to inspire a passion in science, technology, engineering, and math. Discover the genius in all of us.
Welcome back to Robozone. All right, before we get to finals match play from here at Troy Athens High School, let's find out what went down in the Kentwood District. To the west side we go.
The 2017 World Champion Strikeforce took the field again for the second time in the Kentwood District. No surprise, this KZoo team seeded first overall after 12 rounds of qualifying. The first draft, Newaygo County's NC Gears Team 1918, winner of the Traverse City District in Week 1. This dynamic duo chose rookie team 7256 Irish Robotics from Kalamazoo Hackett Catholic Prep as the third member of their #1 Red Alliance. The second-seeded captain, 2771 Code Red Robotics, the Stray Dogs from Granville. They chose 6090 Wayland Wildcats, winner of the Gull Lake District, and rookie team 7234 Wyoming Rebel Robotics. These two top alliances easily swept through the quarters and semis to meet each other across the field in the finale at East Kentwood High. In the grand finale, Strikeforce zips out and claims a scale in the opening seconds with a crossfield double cube autonomous mode. NC Gears joins them to load up the scale for Red. Blue fights back. Despite Code Red and Wildcat scoring a total of 9 cubes, the Red Alliance wins 400 to 336, goes up 1-0. Finals 2, a repeat of match 1. Strikeforce scoring a double in the opening seconds. Blue trails by 1 cube the whole match. Red wins Kentwood 448 to 276. Second season win for both Strikeforce and NC Gears.
It's time now for finals match play here in Troy.
So it all came down to the 1 versus 3 seeds. Plenty of history to go around in this one. 10 state finals appearances between them. Match 1 started with mixed success in Auton for both alliances. The first-seeded Red Alliance controlled the scale from the onset, but a forced power-up kept the third seed in it until they were able to wrestle the scale in their favor with 75 seconds to go. Blue immediately played their 3-cube boost, giving them a 20-point lead. Despite a beautiful buddy climb from the first seed, the third seeds edged out the victory with a score of 304 to 299. Feeling the heat, the first seeds came back swinging in finals match 2. 67 and 43-62 absolutely shut down any attempt on the scale. By the time the third seeds changed their play to the switches, it was just too late to have any effect. The first seeds ascended on the back of 67's nearly automatic climbing mechanism, pushed the play to one last winner-take-all match. For the deciding match 3, we send it to the studio with Dan Kimura and Jim Zondag.
So our number 3 alliance in blue taking the first match of the finals, but red coming back in finals match 2, taking it a little bit more comfortably. We're gonna see what happens here in match number 3. Again, which side is which for that autonomous mode scale is important. And again, Strike Zone gets the good roll.
And Hot scores quickly for red. That's Hot from Milford. And here goes Strike Zone, gonna respond for blue. Hot coming in with the second one. Gonna go for that double autonomous as the engineers score on the switch.
Yep, and it's on, and crucially red, our number 1 alliance here, getting a cube on their switch in auto. They didn't do that in finals match 2. So that's gonna get them a little bit of a lead here as we see the battle for the scale kind of take off.
Yeah, Engineers very quickly. That's Grand Blanc Engineers. They've got 2 on the scale for blue, and here they come again with a third one. Strike Zone coming in beside them, taking the scale back for the blue alliance.
Yeah, but answered right away by 67. It looks like blue maybe still has a little bit of control here. And an interesting cube grab by 55-55. They actually came around. Twice now they've come around that switch, taken the cubes and shoved them into their exchange. So I don't know if that's a denial strategy, but it looks like now their own alliance member, that's Strike Zone, having to make the long run to keep battling for that scale, and that might be putting them behind.
Yeah, I think that's a tactic to keep the cubes out of the reach of the Red Alliance. Not sure if it's working in this case. Red clearly has the scale back now as Team 67 puts another one on for red, and here come the gems beside them, I think making that 7.
Crucial miss there from 5460, so that's put them, I think, now 2 cubes behind on the scale, but they're right here trying to come back.
And here come the Nerds backing them up as Hot drops another one on for red.
A little bit of a bump.
And Nerds get theirs on.
Yep, as does Hot, so Red now with control of the switch, but they're still behind in the match. So Blue has been able to play their force already. They've got a boost ready to go. And those small power-up differences have the advantage. They have 7 cubes in their vault to Red's 0 cubes. So we see the gems just now starting to feed that vault. We've only got 34 seconds left in the match, and they still need that levitate.
And here goes Hot again with the score. Still almost no cubes in the switches in this really close match. Not something we see very often.
And again, there's the boost and the levitate played for Blue, so they're still out in front, 280, 240 right now with only about 15 seconds left. Red plays their force. Not sure that was needed. They have control of the scale, I think. Working on their boost.
And we're moving into the end game now. 67 with their ramp deployed, climbing the towers. We get a double climb for the Blue Alliance. Score really close.
Yep, and it was about 1 second left in the match when they got that last cube in the vault and were able to play that levitate power-up. So that's 35 points. 30 for the power-up play, and 5 points for the cube that right at the end, I think, swung it in their favor. And as we see the final scores come up, yeah, it's going to be 360 for Blue, 400 for Red. So those 35 last-second points making it a little bit more comfortable, but a very close match.
Yeah, 90-90 in the end game, but a little bit of extra scale ownership by the Red Alliance, bringing it home. First win of the season for Hot, third one for the Gems.
Yep, so congratulations to our Red Alliance.
Well, we knew it was close, and this is a great alliance. I'm glad it was really competitive. Our mindset was really just play our game. Our drive team had great chemistry between me and my operator and as an alliance as a whole. So the way we rotated was great as an alliance. We just switched up roles and it went really clean, and like I said, clean as fast.
We are back yet again with power-up perspectives. One of the things I saw this week, Jim, is teams kind of tracking the score correctly. And I think that you can look like you're ahead on the scoreboard, but depending on whether the other team has put their cubes in the vault and played their power-ups or not yet, especially the levitate, we saw big swings of points at the end of matches when those finally went through.
Yeah, I think it's important to keep track of ownership while you're playing, because that really is the thing that matters. A lot of times the scale, the switches are where most of the point generation is from. But if you fill that vault with 45 points and play all your power-ups early, you can think that you're ahead, but if the other team has the same potential still, you can find yourself behind at the very end. And we saw that a couple times this weekend.
The next question then is, at the state championship, what are we going to see for alliances and alliance-wide strategies?
Some of the things that you'll see for alliances is everybody's going to want 2 power forwards. Everybody's going to want 2 robots that can score on the scale. And in particular, I think alliance selection pivoting around autonomous mode, I think is going to be one of the most important things. We've seen in a lot of these tournaments, teams with double, even triple autonomous modes with a single robot. If you have that on both sides of the field, you can take very, very strong early advantage, and it'd be very hard for the other alliance to come back.
If you get 2 or 3 cubes on the scale in autonomous mode, and the other alliance only gets 1 or 0, then all of a sudden you're playing from ahead. And when you play from ahead, you can do smart things with your cubes. You don't have to go into panic mode. You can drop an extra cube on their switch to make their life even more miserable. You can pick and choose the best times to go to your portal in your vault.
Yeah.
We'll see you at the end of the state championship how it really goes.
Mentors that have been there a long time can save teams from going down dead ends. I believe that it still makes more sense to make sure that you're working with the mentors rather than, quote, for them.
We have only to look into each other's eyes to see the story of our planet. But if we move a little to the left and consider the notion of adding the human element to the periodic table of the elements, we see the world for the first time. We work the new chemistry, and in turn, we learn the secret to a better life, where chemistry embraces humanity.
FANUC America is the #1 supplier of robots, CNCs, and factory automation. Our certified automation training prepares students for high-tech careers in advanced manufacturing. Manufacturers use automation to maximize productivity. That's why high-paying careers in advanced automation are in demand today. Our CERT program provides manufacturers and educators a STEM-based curriculum centered on robotics and automation training. Contact FANUC to learn more about our certified automation training programs.
I love working for Stryker. I'm genuinely excited to come to work every day.
We support each other and look out for each other.
I love Stryker because we are like a family.
At Stryker, I own my career.
There are so many different places Stryker can take me in the next 5 years.
Together,
with our customers,
we are driven
to make
healthcare better.
Great people with a strong mission and values can accomplish great things together.
And it is now time for our Hungry Howie's Top 10. What have you got, Jim?
That's all right. Some movement on my list this week after their second win of the season in East Kentwood. #1 on my list, Strike Force. I'm jumping on the Dan Kimura bandwagon.
Plenty of room on the bandwagon, all aboard.
Putting them right at the top, #1. And #2, 67 Milford, the hot team. They got a win at Troy. One of the best looking all-around robots this year. High on my list. Other changes, 302, the Lake Orion Dragons. I've got them at #5, the only team in Michigan with 3 wins so far after 5 weeks of play. And coming back onto my list at position #9, the Killer Bees from Notre Dame Prep after winning across the border at Windsor in week 5.
Yeah, pretty similar. I think we've got almost the same set of teams, a little bit of a different order. 67 off of their win. I know they're outside of the top 10, but just waiting for that win, right? Yeah. So it's always a mixture of predictiveness and sort of performance rewards for this top 10 list. So without a win, I couldn't put them in the top 10. With a win, they're jumping all the way up to #3 for me.
All right.
Okay, so another episode in the books. Remember, Robozone is streaming live the entire final day of competition at the state finals at Saginaw Valley University on Saturday, April 14th. Dan Kutowski, Dan Kimura, Dave Verbreggi, Kira, myself will bring you the best live stream you've ever seen when it comes to covering robotics. Bookmark RobozoneTV.com right now. Even if you're competing, you need to have our stream going. Next week, final week of district competition. It's another 5-district week. Battle Creek Lakeview, Lake Superior State, Forest Hills, Alpena, and Marysville. We'll see you next week.
Robozone is presented by First in Michigan, Michigan's premier provider of K-12 robotics programs. Kettering University, think differently, learn differently. Also brought to you by the DTE Energy Foundation. Blue Chip Talent, ridiculously good at advancing careers in IT and engineering. Stryker, discover your strengths and follow your passion with us. The Dow Chemical Company, the human element at work. Fanuc America, the leading supplier of robots, CNCs, and factory automation. Consumers Energy, encouraging your inner genius. Hungry Howie's Dough Raiser, your next fundraiser comes with flavored crust. And the Ford Steam Experience, inspiring the next generation of problem solvers.